Hello friends, here we are going to work out on the last lecture of standard costing or analysis of variances, and this is one of the most important conceptual lectures for standard costing. Today we don't do any question, but we analyze in detail the reason of all variances. What we are going to do is interpretation of variances. Keep in mind, we have done all the 6 categories of variances with all the steps and a table in each category. I kept on telling you just to remember the variance name. Today you will get the reason of each and every variance. Which variance is caused by what reason and who can be responsible for that particular variance. So, we are going to study all the reasoning, and while doing that, we will be repeating and revising all the 6 tables that you have studied in last classes. So, I am starting one by one. First category that we analyzed was sale value variances. Now, keep on doing along with me, keep on remembering everything, and many new things I will tell you today which will help you understand the reason behind the variances. So, first category, category 1, sale value variances. Now, what does this category show? This category tells me why my actual sale was different than budgeted sale. So, overall, what it tells me? It tells me reasons for differences in budgeted sale value and actual sale value. Budgeted sale value and actual sales value. Hence, if actual sale value is greater than budgeted sale value, positive variance. We are getting actual sale 1 lakh as compared to the target of 90,000, it will be good. You are doing good for the company. Your revenue is more than what you had planned. Positive variance. If actual sale value is lower than budgeted sale value, we get adverse. Here we call it favorable or positive, adverse or negative variance. Now, what is the name of that variance? You all know it. Total sale value variance SV1 minus SV4. SV1 is actual sale, SV4 is budgeted sale. This you already know. This is category number 1 on the top that we are getting. Now we analyze further, why did actual sale come higher than budgeted sale value? There are 2 reasons broadly. 2 broad reasons identified. inflation, deflation, others called volume reasons. Inflation, deflation is indicated by what? Sale value price variance. We are simply saying on actual quantity there must be difference in the prices. There must be difference in the prices. Actual selling price minus budgeted selling price or standard selling price, whatever you call it. Now, actual quantity into actual selling price minus actual quantity into budgeted selling price. It becomes SV1 minus SV2. This is called price variance. Again, if it is positive, we call it favorable. If it is negative, we call it adverse. If prices increased, instead of 10 rupees budget, 12 rupees it is being sold at. So it will give me advantage of 2 rupees per unit. On how many units? On actual units. On actual units, I got the advantage of rupees 2. That is positive variance. If plan was 10 rupees and we are able to actually sell at 9 rupees, there is a loss of 1 rupee. So it will come negative. That is price variance. How much impact did price change had on my sale value is told by sale value price variance. That is inflation or deflation effect. Now simply take an example. I planned 10,000 units to be sold at 10 per unit. This was budget. If actually I sell at 10 per unit but I sell 12,000 units, then also my sale value will be higher. Their actual is something better than the budget. But price is not responsible because price was same. So there can be other reasons. The reason here is quantity getting increased. Quantity is one of the reason. In case there are multiple products, this is A, this is B. This is A, this is B. We planned 10,000, 10,000 and this I planned 8 per unit, B product. Actually, I sold same selling price, no price variance. I sold total quantity same, 20,000, 20,000. But my ratio is different. I sold more of a product which was having higher selling price. I sold less of product having lower selling price. There is some positivity. My actual sale is going to be more. What is the reason? Other than price? Yes. Within volume, the reason is mix. When ratio changes, there is creation of mix variance. When ratio is in favor of a product having higher selling price, then positive variance. When ratio is in favor of product having lower selling price, there is adverse mix variance. Take another example. 10,000, 10,000, 20,000, X and Y to be sold at 10 per unit, to be sold at 8 per unit. Actual X and Y ratio is maintained 12,000, 12,000. 10 per unit, 8 per unit. Is there any price variance? No, no price variance there. Is there any mix variance? No mix variance. Ratio is same. When ratio is same, no mix variance. Then why the sale value is more? Because they have sold total quantity higher than what they planned. When total quantity is higher than planned, positive quantity variance creating volume variance. Volume variance is due to two reasons. either ratio has changed or total quantity has changed or mix of both. Little bit change due to ratio, little bit change due to quantity. Aggregate effect is shown by volume variance. We need to further segregate volume into mix and quantity to find these reasons. How I am explaining? I am trying to explain by keeping all other things constant and only one thing changing. But in real situation, everything changes. Price changes, ratio changes, total quantity changes. They create the sale value variance. Very simple. So easy to remember. By now you have already remembered. I am just telling you the interpretation. I am telling you the meaning of every variance. Try to grasp the meaning now. Will be handy once you interpret or write any conclusions. Question says interpret these variances. You will be able to do it. At inter level, rarely they ask interpretation. I am doing it for your knowledge, for your confidence. You should be knowing the meaning of each interpretation, meaning of each variance basically. On the top, total. Total is why actual sale is different than budgeted sale. Total. Under that, two reasons. Price, inflation, deflation. Other than price, volume. In other than price, further detail. Either it is due to difference in the ratio, mix variance, or it is difference in total quantity budgeted and total quantity actually sold. That is quantity variance. So all these reasons give me the details of sale value variance. At different levels, top level ratio, top level variance, total sale value variance. Middle level variances, sale value price variance, sale value volume variance, middle level. Bottom level, be very sure, price is bottom also. Sale value price variance, mix variance, quantity variance. These three are bottom level variances. So remember their name, meaning, everything will be easily done. So I am writing their table. Inflation, deflation I have already written. Others called volume, that is SV2 minus SV4. Under this, difference in sale quantity ratio, it causes sale value mix variance. Sale value mix variance. What were the steps? SV2 minus SV3. In SV3 we computed if they were in standard proportion what would have been the value. Now everywhere the selling price we are using is budgeted or standard. Only in SV1 it was actual. Everywhere else it is standard. And lastly, difference in total sale quantity, sale value quantity variance. Students many times mix up quantity and volume. Don't mix up. Volume includes effect of mix also. Changes in mix. Only ratio different. Everything else, even if total quantity is same. The mix is also causing volume variance. Volume is anything other than price. Whatever change is happening in actual sale other than the price change. If price was same, then why the sale value is different? That is explained by volume variance. Two further reasons for that, mix and quantity. So sale value quantity variance, you know it is SV3 minus SV4. This is the interpretation of first category of variances. I hope it is clear to you. The second category of variances that we discuss is sale margin variances. You need to understand difference between margin and profit. What we are going to study here is similar to sale value variances except that Here we study the impact of changes in sale related items on profits of the entity. Now, important thing I have written there, sale related items. Here we do not consider impact of cost related items as they are separately included in cost variances. We don't want that actual cost and planned cost, their differences affect profit. They do affect profit, but that will not be considered in sale margin variances. We want to consider only sale related items. When the selling price change, what is impact on profit? When mix change, what is the impact on profit? When the quantity changes, what is the impact on profit? We don't want to see the inflation, deflation in material cost, labor cost, variable overhead cost and all. That we'll see separately in cost variances. This is a strong reason why we don't consider actual cost in margin variances. So the reason I am giving you every reason now. That is the reason why all margins are based on standard cost per unit, and we totally ignore actual cost per unit for computing margin variances. Further, logically, the impact on turnover as well as profits is same for inflation deflation. Try to understand. My budgeted selling price per unit was 15. Actual was 18 per unit. Now simply, my sales revenue will increase by 3 per unit. My profit per unit will also increase by 3 per unit. Impact is same. This is the reason. That's why always SVPV is equal to SMPV. Sale value price variance is always equal to sale margin price variance. I'll prove it mathematically also. Nobody will ask you, but I'll do it for you. What is SVPV? It is SV1 minus SV2. Actual quantity into actual selling price minus actual quantity into budgeted selling price. This is what SVPV is. I want to check what is SMPV. SM1 minus SM2. This derivation I have not done earlier, but I checked in all questions we did that price variances were same in value and margin category. Here I am proving it mathematically. It is always correct. What is SM1? Actual quantity into actual margin minus actual quantity multiplied by budgeted margin. What was actual margin? Actual quantity into actual selling price per unit minus actual cost per unit. Is this correct? No. We never consider actual cost in computing margins. We must consider budgeted cost. So be very sure and alert with me. Minus actual quantity multiplied by budgeted selling price minus budgeted cost per unit, obviously. Open the brackets. Actual quantity into actual selling. Some people will be bored with the maths. Ignore it. If you are bored, ignore it. Those who want to get the details, I am doing it for them. Minus actual quantity into budgeted cost minus actual quantity into budgeted selling price. This minus and minus will become plus actual quantity into budgeted cost. Those interested in maths, they can see this and this cuts. And I am left with actual quantity into actual selling price minus actual quantity into budgeted selling price. You can confirm always this and this. SVPV, SMPV are same. Logically also, if my selling price decreases by 2 per unit, my sale value will decrease by 2 per unit, my profit margin will also decrease by 2 per unit. So impact on turnover and impact on profits will be same when there is inflation or deflation. In other things it is not same. In mix it is not same. In quantity it is not same. So you have to compute them separate. The reasons are same. On the top, total sale margin variance, SM1 minus SM4. Why did actual profit differ from budgeted profit if all costs were same? Cost impact is not being considered here. So SM4 is budgeted profit, SM1 is actual margin, not actual profit. We have considered there only standard cost. If cost were same, then why is the difference in the profits? Caused by sale reasons. Under this, sale margin price variance SM1 minus SM2, that is caused by inflation, deflation in price, selling price change causes this. Sale margin volume variance other than price, SM2 minus SM4. This is inflation, deflation, other reasons. Further classified as sale margin mix variance 2 minus 3, quantity variance 3 minus 4. So this is changes in ratio causes change in profit. Changes in total quantity causes change in profit. It may happen that there is mix positive, quantity negative, or vice versa. There can be compensating effects also. Anything can happen. You changed into a better mix. You considered a product having higher margin per unit. You increased its quantity and decreased the quantity of the other. But total sale quantity was less than what you budgeted. So one thing positive, one thing negative, net off is volume variance. This is the second category of variance, which is sale margin variances. I hope it is clear. The third category I take up is fixed overhead variances. Once you understand fixed overhead, variable is subset of this, will be easily understood. Try to understand fixed overhead category in detail. One reason is inflation deflation. That is shown by expenditure variance, left hand side. Other than inflation deflation, all reasons are on right hand side, which is volume variance. Now you need to understand the reasons behind volume category. I'll first elaborate them, then I'll make the table again. The three reasons that I explained there: calendar, capacity, efficiency. I'll take one simple example which will elaborate the meaning of calendar, capacity, efficiency. Let us say you have 100 days to prepare your exam. You plan to study 100 days before your exams. And daily 10 hours planned. What is planned? 1000 hours study. And in every hour, you will solve 2 questions, objective type questions, whatever questions you can solve. 30 minutes is a plan. 2 questions per hour. So what is a plan? 2000 questions. Now, what happens actually? Actually, you study only 95 days. You still think I am very efficient because I have achieved 95% of this. No, it is not like that. You have not worked to the expectation. Out of 100 days, 5 days you enjoyed. You did not study. You tried to compensate it. You tried to compensate it. You studied 10.5 hours per day. You studied total 997.5 hours. Did not achieve target still. But you were efficient enough to solve 2.5 questions per hour. (2.5 questions per hour). So you solved total 2493.75 or approximately 2494 questions. What has happened? Your calendar ratio, your calendar variance, negative. Capacity variance, positive. Efficiency variance, positive. If you worked 10 hours per day, 10 hours per day, your capacity would have remained same. So try to judge these things properly. Try to judge these things properly. Total days worked, busted and actual, that determines my what? Calendar variance. Hours budgeted and hours worked, that determines my capacity variance. Efficiency determined by questions per hour. In case of company, instead of questions, there are units of production. Everything is same. So it clearly explains the reasons of volume variance. Inflation, deflation, fixed overhead cost variance, reasons for difference in standard and actual fixed overhead. FO5 minus FO1. Fixed overhead expenditure variance, inflation, deflation. Fixed overhead volume variance, all reasons other than inflation, deflation. Top level variance, fixed overhead cost variance, middle level variance, expenditure and volume. Bottom level, never forget expenditure, calendar, capacity, efficiency. 4 variances are in bottom level. So here you get calendar, when days budgeted and actual are different. Capacity, when actual hours are different than budgeted hours per day. Efficiency, production per unit, planned and actual are different. That creates efficiency variance. Questions per hour I said. Here it is production per unit, planned and actual is different. So this is what is spelling out all the variances. Variable overhead is not difficult. Variable overhead is simple. Inflation, deflation, which is expenditure again, or efficiency. We call efficiency as difference in input output ratio. Difference in input output ratio. Time taken per unit, hours per unit is important input output ratio that we are considering in variable overheads also, and fixed overhead efficiency variance also. They are quite similar. There is no different bottom level in variable overhead. Middle level and bottom level variances are same. Top level is overhead cost, middle level and bottom level is expenditure and efficiency. That is a complete overheads category of variances. Category 5, material cost variances. It is very simple. On the top, the difference between standard material cost and actual material cost is cost variance. 2 reasons: either inflation, deflation in price of material told by price variance. Other than price, what you get is known as, new name, usage variance. Now usage can be different either due to differences in mix. Costlier item I used in higher proportion than the cheaper item. It will be adverse variance, mix variance. And other than that, difference in what? Input output ratio will create what? Yield variance or sub usage variance. Yield or sub usage, one and same thing. Remember, there is lot of importance given to yield in the production department. In material also, in labor also. In material, it is material consumed per unit of output. It may be due to losses being more, losses being less, whatever. If losses are less, output is more, there will be positive yield variance. If losses are less, output will be more, then certainly positive material yield variance. If losses are more, output is less, there will be negative adverse yield variance. So try to focus on all the reasoning there. The loss percentages comes into picture only for the purpose of yield variance. It does not come in picture for mix or price. They are all input based steps. The yield causes usage to differ, the usage causes cost to differ. So I am writing there. It explains the impact on entity due to differences in standard material cost, that is flexed material cost. In flexible budget, what was material cost? That is M4. We don't compare original budget because quantity of output can be different. We are considering flexed material cost and actual material cost. I have repeatedly told you difference between budgeted and standard. Here we have nothing to do with budget, we are doing with standard. Standard material cost and actual material cost, the difference is material cost variance. MCV M4 minus M1. Inflation or deflation in prices of material, their impact is told by MPV, M2 minus M1. Other than inflation, deflation, explained by material usage variance, M4 minus M2. Those other reasons include change in cost due to difference in ratio of material quantity used, material mix variance, M3 minus M2. Lastly, difference in input output ratio of materials explained by material yield variance or material sub usage variance, M4 minus M3. If my input output ratio actually is higher than budgeted, will there be positive yield variance or negative? My question is, concentrate on question. Input output ratio actual is higher than budgeted. Good or bad? Think over. Is it good or bad? Let me tell you, it is bad. Why? Take an example. Plan was 2 kg per unit of output. Actual is 2.5 kg per unit of output. It's bad, na? You're consuming more material for same output. So it is bad. Bad means you'll get adverse variance. And this is yield variance, input-output ratio. It may be due to more usage of material or maybe due to losses being more while creating the output. Any reason. Yield variance is input-output ratio. Mix applies when there are multiple materials being used. You are using more of costly or more of cheaper one. That will create mix variance. If ratio is same, mix variance is not there. If there is a single product, mix variance is not there. All usage is called by yield only. So this is the concept you need to understand. Last category I have reached, labor. Category 6, labor cost variances. It explains the difference in standard labor cost, that is flexed budget labor cost and actual labor cost. L5 minus L1, this is actual and this is standard. Inflation, deflation caused by changes in labor rates. Labor rate variance L2 minus L1. Other than inflation, deflation. Labor efficiency variance L5 minus L2. I've told you two different types of tables. This is a standard table we use normally, but in exception, idle time variance is also taken in middle. That is something different. We are doing at standard table. Now, efficiency is further divided. Labor idle time variance, which is always inefficiency. It will always be adverse variance, can never be favorable variance in idle time. Either 0 or negative, cannot be a positive variance. Labor mix variance, what does it show? Difference in labor cost due to use of different proportions of workers than budgeted. If you used cheaper labor higher than costlier labor, you will have favorable mix variance. If you used costlier labor in higher proportion, you will have adverse mix variance. So ratio, if ratio is same, no mix variance then. Labor yield variance or labor sub-efficiency variance L5 minus L4, it elaborates the impact of differences in input-output ratio. Plan was 2 hours per unit. Actual 1.9 hours per unit. Good or bad? This is good. In lesser hours, you are able to make same product. Same unit of output you are able to make with lesser hours. That is good. Positive yield or sub-efficiency variance. Top level cost, middle level rate and efficiency, bottom level rate, idle time, mix, yield. All four. Never forget rate. Rate is what creates confusion. Yes, some authors take idle time in the middle level. They say you should not classify it under efficiency because it is inefficiency always. But as a standard table, it comes under efficiency. So this is the categorization here. Before I finish all of this, I will have one odd comment to make, which is very interesting and important. The comment taken from some CMA final exam. It said some positive variances may lead to some negative variances. Now, when you are looking at overall variances, don't reach conclusions instantly. Look at the interrelationship between variances. That is written here. Some positive variances may lead to some negative variances. It can be vice versa also. I'll look at this statement first. Let us say MPV positive may lead to material yield variance, labor yield variance negative. Try to understand. The purchase manager wants to get the advantage. He bought cheap material. Cheap not only in rate but also in quality. Instead of buying a standardized good quality material, he bought Chinese products. So obviously something which was standard 100 rupees per unit, per kg, whatever you call it, he bought for 75 per kg. But what will happen? The output will decline because there is a bad quality of material. Input output ratio will get worse. The product was to be created with 1 kg, it gets created with 3 kg. So obviously yield variance will be negative. Labor had to work, instead of 3 hours, they had to work 5 hours, 6 hours to create same product. Negative variance there also. So what I am trying to say, only giving a positive variance does not mean that purchase manager should be promoted for that or should start getting bonus for that you have created positive variance for company. You have to see the overall impact. He bought some negative quality material which impacted the yield variances. Reverse can also happen. MPV negative which gave positive yield variances. They bought better quality material than what was planned. This will come in the comments only of the management. You can't judge from figures only. These are probable reasons I am talking. So interpreting variances is not a kid's job. At inter level, you are all kids. You may not have that much detail to offer. Once you reach final level or otherwise at higher levels, you will need to understand these intricacies further. I've just tried to give you some knowledge about the variance interpretation and their meanings I have tried to explain you so that you can remember. Must calculate right interpretation only when question wants you to do so. Otherwise, it is for your knowledge only that I have done all the exercise today. We'll continue with the next topic in next class.